Hi, everyone. I'm so happy that you're able to join me today. Today, I want to talk about something that I get asked about the most. And I get asked about it everywhere I go. Everyone seems to be challenging with the same feelings of overwhelm. They have so much to do and they don't have the time to do it. And it feels like they are running and running and going and they aren't getting anywhere. So if you feel like this, I want you to listen to this because this is for you. The strategy that I use to tackle these daunting to-do lists is something that I actually learned when I was going to school for office administration and bookkeeping. And what I learned changed my life. It literally changed the way that I organize my time, and it just helped me so much. And so whenever I hear people ask about this, I am always so excited to talk about it. Okay. So that's what I want to share with you today. So first of all, hi. If you don't know me, my name is Coralie from Happy Space Organizing, and it is my goal to help as many people as I can to organize their home and their life. Okay. So I take a more holistic approach to home organizing, and I realize how just the changes of organizing your home can improve so many areas of your life. And I don't stop there. I work on time management, I do budgeting, and anything that can help in a holistic way to help you to find balance and to find harmony in your home. So, if you don't know me, hi, it's nice to meet you, and I hope that you enjoy this presentation. So, the very first thing that I do when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling like I don't know how to get everything done and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, I always go back to the same thing, okay? And it's a to-do list. But it's not just any to-do list, okay? Do you ever feel like you're just writing down like a whole list of tasks and you're like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. I'm just checking things off. Clean the windows, done, whatever. It might not really get you to where you need to be, okay? Because some items on that list are not equal to others, okay? So the very first thing we want to do when we're feeling that amount of overwhelm is we just want to write it all down. No particular order. If it's in your head, jot it down, okay? Because we want to get it out of your brain and onto the paper. Okay, so make a list, write it down. Okay, that's step one. Step two is when we start organizing these, okay? We're going to start figuring out what is the most important and how to approach these things, okay? So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the letter A, okay? We're using the ABCDE method. If you've never heard about it, this is what we're going to learn today. So, we're going to write the letter A on anything on that list that there is serious consequences if it's not done. These things are time sensitive. They need to be done. We can't really mess around. They're going to be the things that are causing us the most amount of stress, okay? And in general, they're going to be the things that we don't like doing. We don't like doing them. They're causing us stress. They're sitting there. They're urgent, and we need to get them done. So write an A beside any of those things that are very, very urgent, and there's going to be consequences if it's not done, okay? And then we're going to use B. B is similar to A, but it's just less bad on the scale, okay? So B is things that need to be done within a timely manner, and there's still going to be some consequences if they're not done, okay? So these are going to be things that are just a little less on the priority list, okay? They still need to be done, but they're not urgent, okay? These are not urgent tasks. They're things that are important tasks that we still need to do, okay? And then once we're done that, then we would take the letter C. And C is for the things that we want to do, we would like to do, maybe we kind of should do. It's a little more optional, it's a little more flexible. Write the letter C on the things that you'd like to do if you have the time, okay? And they're still going to add value to our lives, okay? Doing these things are still going to help us in some way, help our business in some way, help our life in some way. So these are things that are good to do. And then we are going to take the letter D and we're going to write that beside anything we think we can delegate. Are we taking too much on? Are we being a perfectionist and we don't entrust other people to handle things that maybe is something that they can take off our plates and they can handle? And we just maybe are being a little controlling. That's very common. So use the people you have in your life and think about that team effort. So whether it's at work or whether it's at home, if it's family or in any circumstance of whatever you're using this for, if there's things that you can delegate, take advantage of that, okay? So that is something off your list that you don't need to do, that you don't need to worry about, and it still gets done, okay? And the final one is we're going to use the letter E. E equals eliminate whenever possible, okay? So I find E to be one of the silliest of things because we tend to do things that might be in the E category more. We tend to do things that might be in the C category more because when we're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out and have so much stuff done, subconsciously we just want to check something off the box, right? We want to feel productive. We want to feel like we're getting something done, but we don't want to address the things that we feel are hard, the things that are causing us that overwhelm and that stress. So it's almost like we're cleaning the windows instead of paying our bills, you know? There's I mean, it's nice to have clean windows, right? We should do it every so often, but as far as priorities, it's probably going to be less important unless maybe you are a cleaning company or something like that. But we want to actually make sure we're spending the time doing the things that need to be done and just eliminate, just cross them off the list. Because if we're making these lists, you can do it on a regular daily basis if you're someone who loves making lists. I personally pull this list out when I'm feeling overwhelmed, okay? So if you're feeling overwhelmed, cross off the things that don't need to be done, okay? Just so you can feel busy and feel like you had a busy day. Because like I said, I noticed the tendency is that we do a lot of E's, things that don't even need to be done. But also we have the tendency to do the C's because we're like, you know what? This is going to improve my business somehow. This is going to improve my life somehow, which it might, but we justify doing the C's when we have like A and B, like kind of like yelling at us in our subconscious that it's a deadline, that it's important, that we need to get it done. And we justify not doing these things because we were busy, because we did something, right? So when we work our list from A, B, C, and then still delegate and eliminate, we will notice a huge amount of weight off our shoulders, okay? The things that we felt like were impossible to get done because we're seeing the big list, all of a sudden we are tackling the things that are bugging us the most, the things that are stressing us out the most, and the things that people are actually counting on us for, okay? So when we're starting with the A's and then moving into the B's, if we have time, C's, and so on, I mean, it just takes that overwhelm away. It's like magic. So if you haven't tried organizing your tasks this way when you're feeling overwhelmed, I really challenge you to try it. If you're overwhelmed right now, take a few minutes after this video or right now as we're speaking and just kind of start making your list, okay? And as you check those things off that are truly the harder things to do, you're going to notice such a big difference in how you feel and how you approach life. And you are going to be making the best use of your time so that you're going to be more productive without doing as much, okay? And of course, within any to-do lists or any tasks, we definitely still need to take bigger projects and make little smaller tasks, 5 minutes or less out of those, okay? So we're still making a checklist. So maybe that big A or B is a huge project that still needs to be done. And that could be why we're already avoiding it, because we're thinking too big. So we're still going to be starting with the A tasks and putting small checklists. Okay. And if they're not due by the end of the day or the end of the week, then what we can do is we can spend like an amount of time working on the A's and then the B's, but don't put them last. Don't put them towards the end of the day when you're tired already, when you've used up the best of your energy. We want to make sure those are done first. So when things come up, the most important things have still been done. Okay. We're not avoiding them. So that is my method of tackling those daunting to-do lists in a way that works. And then once we're kind of out of the red zone with the things that need to be done, this is where I would say carefully assess, okay? Assess why you're getting in these situations in the first place when you're overwhelmed, okay? Sometimes we don't know the difference between super urgent because everything feels urgent, right? So we want to ask ourselves questions like, are these actually having the same urgency? Because they shouldn't be all the same. And if truly we have so many urgent things that actually need to be done, then we want to ask ourselves realistically, are we taking too much on? Are we saying yes to things we should be saying no to? Because we only have so much time in the day. We should only have a certain amount of time when we're doing these things, because we still need to spend time with our families. We still need to have self-care, and we still need to get a good night's sleep. And that's the thing that I tend to struggle with at times, is because I'm very ADHD, so when I get excited about something, I sometimes don't know how to stop. So when I'm really getting into my list and I'm really enjoying doing something that's for my business that excites me, I want to stay up late doing it. And this is something that I am working on right now, is creating better boundaries between my business and my personal life, even though there's things that I really, really enjoy doing, okay? So setting that boundary, but making sure things are done within that period of time using routines. Okay. But number one is making sure we're not taking too many things on. Okay. We can't just say yes to everyone and make it so we have so much pressure that we really can't do anything right or well, and we're not going to be in the right frame of mind. Okay. The second thing you might want to look at is how you're doing these projects, in the sense of what your standard is, okay? Because things should be done well, okay? But are we being too perfectionist about it? Because in many circumstances, it is better to get something done than get it done perfectly, or get it done well than get it done perfectly. They always say perfect is the enemy of good. Pretty sure that's a term I hear all the time, and it truly is, okay? We want to do a good job, or we can do a perfect job at one thing and our whole rest of our life can kind of suffer, right? So we want to get good at doing things good instead of perfect at doing one thing perfect, because that is not a very balanced view. So if things are starting to build up, we can ask ourselves, what is the standard? Are we too hard on ourselves? Are we too much of a perfectionist to do things well? And then another thing we want to look at is, it's something that we address, is how much time we are really wasting doing things that don't bring value. Okay, these are like chewing like the fat or whatever. It's like trimming the fat. We want to really cut away at those things that are taking so much time and energy when it's just not necessary, and looking at the way that we do things. Okay, so if we can do things a little more efficiently. So those are other things that we can all be thinking about, but we definitely want to reassess, reevaluate, and try to figure out what gets us here in the first place. Another thing that is very common is procrastination, and this can be caused by perfectionism. We can be perfectionists and sit and do tasks for hours and hours and hours, or we can be perfectionists and just avoid it because it's stressing us out. So procrastination is another big one. And when you do the list A, B, C, D, E, we start doing the tasks that need to be done first so we can stop putting those off, okay? So if you're the type of person who tends to have a lot of important tasks build up until you feel like you're going to explode, right? Like this is the point, like all these deadlines are all of a sudden tomorrow. Why did you do this to yourself? Everything you need to ask yourself honestly, if you are planning well enough with your time and breaking those things down again into very small steps, but working on them every day. So always know your A's and B's, okay? And have a general idea in your head about what's the things that aren't necessary, whether or not you use these lists every day, but have an idea in your head if there are things, projects that are very important to you that you want to take on. Just make sure you have a timeline in your mind and small steps, small actionable steps, usually every day or in whatever way that you think that you'll need, but very regular steps so you don't get overwhelmed at the end. So anyway, if you guys have any more tips about how you tackle these daunting to-do lists to get yourself out of the overwhelm and where you feel like you're actually in control of your time, please let me know. I would love to hear it and share it with the audience. Okay, thank you so much for listening. If you want to learn more, just Happy Space Organizing, you can follow me. Go to my website, happyspaceorganizing.ca. We have programs that can help you get organized today, where we find so many speakers. So happyspaceorganizing.ca or follow me here. Okay, have a great day.